Hello there, Libra. Thank you so much for stopping by for your monthly tarot video forecast. This is an in-depth forecast, and we are going to be breaking the month down into two separate segments. The first one is going to cover July the 1st through the 17th, and then after that we'll look at July 18th through the 31st. So for right now, just looking at the 1st through the 17th, I already have shuffled your cards and put them down on the board. So let's just dive right in. The first thing that I'm seeing is that there's something going on with your environment. And remember, environment is any place where you have energy or effort invested. So it could be home, but it doesn't have to be. You want to be a little bit open-minded about where I could be talking about here. But it does look like with your environment, you've done something in the past that was more or less a leap of faith, not knowing exactly where that would take you, but just knowing that it just felt like the right thing to do, seemed like the right thing to do. And so what I see going on with the environment during this time frame is that you will have a point where you sort of question or reconsider, am I happy with that choice now? Am I still happy with that choice that I made that was that leap of faith? Do I want to continue moving forward with that leap of faith, or has it served its purpose? Is it time to let that go? And so what I think is going on is after you've had this deliberation having to do with your environment about whether you want to keep this leap of faith going or not, looks to me like you're deciding that yes, there's still more to come out of that. You're expecting that this will lead to more good things. And so yes, you want to continue forward with that original leap of faith. Now, next thing that we have coming up talks to me about your subconscious leanings, Libra. It looks to me like, well, first of all, I'm going to say that your subconscious leanings do have something to do with some kind of fight. What I'm feeling around for is this a fight that's already happened or a fight that you're anticipating? For a few of you, I think this fight's already happened, but for some of you, this is more about a fight that you're anticipating. And so for those of you that the fight's already happened, with this being in your subconscious, this talks about really kind of mulling this over and seeing if something could have been done differently, and possibly even how do you bring peace or harmony to that situation now. For those of you that this is a fight that you're anticipating, subconscious is working on, what's the best way to handle if this scenario comes up. Either way though, your subconscious is focusing on a fight, an argument, a debate. Okay. Next thing that I'm looking at for you, Libras. By the way, if you guys want to have more in-depth information than this, then getting a personal reading is where I get to dig into each of you. Like if you have a reading, I get to dig straight into just your energy, not all the Libras watching this energy. So if you want some more specific information, then just book a reading with me. Let's see. Let's move on though. For right now, we want to look at learning style and also communication style. I do think you're picking up a lot of new information during this time frame, Libra, and I think you're really focused on this information. It feels like you're doing your due diligence about something. There's something that you need to find out about or you need to do research on, and so you are just really honing in on that. Now, as far as your communication style, I do think that I think there's somebody that you're communicating with about something that you're not letting just everybody know about. Maybe you're scheduling some kind of surprise birthday party or anniversary party, so not everybody gets to know that information. Maybe you have some other kind of secret that you're trying to pull something off and you don't want everybody to know. But so I do feel like there's something that you're talking about to somebody, but you're not letting everybody in your sphere of influence know about that conversation. As far as other conversations, I do see them being, I think that there are some that are actually focused quite a bit around money and earning money and spending money and what to do with money. And there are others that are just very, high energy conversations, I think is the best way to say that. Conversations that have a lot of energy behind them. Okay, the next thing that I'm looking at talks to me about work for those of you who are Libra during this time frame. And what it looks like to me with work is that you are not in anything you would consider a heavy duty or a long-term contract or agreement. Okay, so this could be that maybe you're feeling like the company that you work for. If you're an employee, you may be feeling like, you know what, I'm not totally all in with this company. I think they've got some issues, and this could be talking about putting out resumes to some other place, or just kind of being ready to hit the eject button if you need to. But I don't see you actually ejecting. I think you're just kind of waiting to see what happens with the agreement that you have there. Independent contractors, same thing. I think that you're not walking away from a situation exactly, but I think that you're kind of waiting to see how much commitment there actually can be here. What's the potential here really? And I think also you're at the ready that, if you need to bail ship, you're at the ready. You're already looking for opportunities of where you could go if you need to. So basically, I think you guys have a backup plan because you're not having a whole lot of confidence in whoever it is that is sending you your paychecks. Next thing that I'm looking at talks to me about that part of your personality which is growing or expanding right now. Now this is one of those things that, this is something to be thankful when you see the reading ahead of time, because it gives you a chance to sort of make some adjustments and shift this energy so that it doesn't have to come true. But what I'm seeing about where you're growing or expanding right now has to do with the idea of not being very imbalanced, not being very imbalanced emotionally and physically and tangibly. So it looks like, there's an emphasis, an inordinate amount of emphasis on one part of your life or the other, to the point that you're neglecting other parts of your life, and we are a whole, complete person, each of us as individuals, so we have to be able to maintain and keep going every facet of our lives. So spiritual, mental, emotional, tangible, we have to be able to put the food on the table, but we also have to be able to find things that make us feel emotionally satisfied too, not just physically satisfied. And also spiritually satisfied. So important to really focus on bringing in some balance during this time frame, or maintaining balance during this time frame if you can. All right, next thing that we're looking at talks to me about those things that you stand for during this time frame. So this is going to be something that somebody has either asked you to explain or maybe even confronted you about, just depending on your particular situation, Leo. And then what we're going to look at is we're going to look at this person who asked you to explain or complained or confronted. We're going to look at how they see you and the situation after you have the interaction that they bring up. So what you're standing for, is this about Libra or somebody else? There's somebody in your sphere of influence, Libra, who is working on putting an addiction behind them. I feel like a lot of them have somebody, at least one somebody, believing that they have actually put this addiction behind them. I don't think that they really have. I do think there's some falling off the wagon on a pretty regular basis, but they're pretty good at covering their tracks. And I don't necessarily think that you realize that there's as much falling off the wagon going on as there is. Okay? Obviously, this person doesn't want people to realize that. And so this is the person that you're standing up for. So somebody's probably coming to you and complaining, whatever, I saw this person doing this or doing that or whatever. And I think you're saying, you know what? No, this person is putting that behind them. That's not going on. You must be mistaken. And how they see you after this is they see you as somebody that you would know the truth. They feel like you're close enough to this person, and how you're viewed by this person is that you're an important person to them to make happy. So I think they figure that you know the truth. Isn't that a cosmic laugh right there? And I'm saying that because for the majority of you, this person really is not as clean as what they're trying to give the impression of. And, with you, you're vouching for them because you feel pretty confident in them. Most of you do, at least. And this person is really taking your word and going, well, the Libra would know. And so whatever worries or concerns that they had, they're chalking them up to a mistake and letting those go because they feel like you actually know the picture. And I feel like for most of you, this person coming to you with the concern or the issue, that concern or issue is valid, and you just don't realize it at the time. Okay? The truth always comes out, though. It always comes out. All right, so next thing that we're looking at talks to me about the lesson or experience of this time frame. And what I see here is that you're either giving somebody a gift or you're giving somebody the gift of a second chance. I do see a second chance as a gift, whether it's a second chance for a romance or whether it's for an employee-employer situation or whatever. Doesn't really matter the context. For me, second chances are gifts that we give to somebody because we don't have to give someone a second chance. It is a gift. Okay? Next thing that I'm seeing is what happens as you're giving this gift to somebody. I think that you are getting prepared for the idea that this person could completely disrespect the gift and not appreciate it at all. And so I think that you are giving this gift eyes wide open. I don't think you're being naive. I don't think that you're expecting that, oh, well, I'm giving this person this gift, so and then, you know, life is going to be happily ever after now. I don't think that you are looking at it this way. I think you are just preparing. I think you're hoping for the best, but you're preparing for just in case of the worst. All right? The other thing that I see coming up here is that by giving this person the gift, it does give you an opportunity for something that you didn't think you would have before. And so I see you really focusing on that opportunity that comes up because of this gift that you're giving. And then last but not least, during this particular time frame where we see you more towards the end of it, it looks to me like there's something that you are working on making a reality in your life or manifesting. And I think you're having some frustration with that. In fact, you may even be manifesting the opposite of what you want, which really says something really loud and clear to me here, Libras, which is that you are being a worrywart about that thing that you fear the most. So instead of focusing your energy and your attention on that thing that you want, you are worrying about what if that fear that you have comes to pass, and you're worrying about it so much that's where your focus is going the majority of the time, and you're creating that with your worry. You're drawing it into you. So advice here is when you catch yourself worrying, try to pivot. Try to focus on, well, what would happen if that actually turned out good? And if you're not able to think in a positive way when you try to look at it in a pivot manner, then at least take your attention off of that thing that you're worried about and focus on something that makes you happy. Maybe it's, you know, wow, this hot wing tastes great, or wow, my pillow feels really good under my head. Doesn't matter what. Focus on something that makes you happy. All right? Okay. So that's what I've got for the first part of the month for those of you who are Libras. And then, well, that's going to be all of you, right? Cross-watchers are welcome here, but you need to know this video is not about you. Okay? Anyway, that's what I've got for the first half of the month for you Libras. I'm going to take a break, and when I come back, we'll look at the second half. See you in a second. Welcome back, Libra. We are here to look at the second part of July now, starting with the 18th through the 31st. Once again, I've already shuffled the cards and I've got them on the table, so let's just jump right in. So the first thing that I'm looking at is the environment, and with the environment, what I'm seeing is that there is some kind of surprise coming in, something that you're not exactly prepared for. And remember, environment is any place where you have energy or effort invested, so it could be home, but it might be someplace else as well. You'll recognize it. All right, next thing that we have coming up talks to me about your subconscious leanings, and it looks to me here like what you're thinking about is you would like to have some really positive experiences with somebody else, and I think you have some specific activities that you have in mind for yourself and somebody else, and so I think your subconscious, you know, you're just kind of anticipating and looking forward to, and also looking for, how can I line that up to make sure that it all goes well. Next, what we have showing up talks to me about your learning style and also your communication style. I do think, Libra, during this time frame, you're learning about those things that make you curious and that sort of draw you to them. So those things that are very interesting to you, you're not so much learning what other people are telling you you need to be learning. It's all about what you want, what you like. Now, communication style, I do think that you could be sending out really sweet messages to somebody. And when I say sending them out, these could be going out SMS, they could be email, maybe you're writing notes and tucking them in somebody's lunchbox, or, leaving them where they may find them. But it just feels to me like you are sending out some sweet messages that have to do with feelings during this time frame. Next up, Libra, what we're looking at is work. It looks like there's some things going on at work, and I think you're feeling a little bit disappointed about how some things have shaken out at work. However, we do still have this idea that, all is not lost. All is not lost here, but I think you're having a hard time with seeing that as we look at this particular time frame, the second half of July. I think you're having a hard time seeing that not all is lost. There are still opportunities in front of you here, but I don't feel like you're even paying any attention to them or looking at them, because you're really focused on, oh, I wish this would have, or I wish that would have, or why didn't this work out better, that type of thing. So you want to head that energy off at the past so that you can take advantage of these other opportunities that are showing up instead of just soaking yourself in disappointment. Next thing that I'm looking at talks to me about that part of your personality which is growing or expanding right now, and I do see you showing up as the Peacemaker. And the Peacemaker for me can be one of two things. It can be that you are a mediator for two parties who are not getting along, but it also can be that, you've been involved in this fight, this argument, this debate, and you've decided, you know what, I'm just going to let it go. I just want to have peace and harmony, and so you're dropping it. Okay, could come in either way, whichever way you go about it. I do see you being the Peacemaker during this time frame. Next thing that I'm looking at does talk to me about something that you stand for. So this is something that somebody has either asked you to explain or confronted you about. And so it looks to me like you've been really focused on learning some particular new things. And we already saw you're learning about things that catch your interest. Okay? But you've really been focused on these things that you're learning. So whatever it is that's catching your interest, it's probably sort of in the same topic area. And so somebody's asking you about this, and so you're explaining or maybe even defending this situation. And how this person sees you after you've had this conversation is they're basically seeing you as working really hard. So to them, they're looking at, why, for whatever reason you're getting this information, you're so into it that you're actually working to pull this information towards yourself, to absorb this information. Okay? Next thing that I'm looking at talks to me about the lesson or experience of this time frame, and what we have showing up here just shows that there's something that you're attracted to. There is something that's drawing you in. I feel like we've kind of got a theme with what you're learning about here, those things that you're curious about, that you have interest in. I think that this is what I'm seeing that's actually attracting you, and that's why you're learning about it. Okay? Next thing that we have showing up happens at the same time that you're really enjoying this thing that you're drawn to or fascinated by. And one of the things is, I think you're not feeling so good physically. You're just not feeling 100%, and you may even be taking a couple of days where you're just not you're not doing what you would normally do. And I think during this time you're really focusing on this thing that you're fascinated with. I don't think that you're just laying in bed just sleeping. There's something going on here, definitely. And I think it really has your creative juices flowing. It has you feeling inspired, and it has you feeling like, this is something that you could share with other people in your sphere of influence if you wanted to. I'm not sure you've made the decision to do that yet, but I think you are looking at those options as viable if you do want to. Now, last thing that we have coming up is towards the 31st of July for you Leos. It looks to me like things generally are slowing down, especially when it comes to work situations. And so as things are slowing down, I do also feel like this is just a temporary slowdown, which makes it a really good time to catch up on anything that's sort of been on the back burner lately. Okay, so that's what we've got for your month of July, Libra. Please remember, if you want something that gets into more specifics, you want to order a personal reading, and I'm happy to do those for you. And of course, thank you all for being here. Thank you for viewing, for thumbs upping, for sharing, for subscribing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to those of you ordering readings and Reiki sessions. It is because of you guys' support at every single level that I get to do what I love to do for my living. So thank you very much. Everyone have a fantastic month. And if I don't see you here for a private reading or a private Reiki session between now and then, well, then I'll at least see you back on the next video. Peace out.